The justices are expected to decide on these two cases this summer, which will have sweeping implications for girls.
West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey joins us now to discuss. Governor, thanks for being with us. Want to get your take. What did you hear from the Supreme Court today? What's your opinion on where this goes?
You know, first of all, thank you so much for having me on. Before I became governor, I served as the state's attorney general and spent years defending the rights of female athletes. So we know that it was a matter of basic fairness when the West Virginia legislature passed this law, which just recognized the biological distinction between men and women. So I thought West Virginia did a really good job today at the Supreme Court, making it clear that there were no equal protection problems, there were no Title IX problems, that the way the legislature drafted it made distinctions on the basis of biology, and that's an irrefutable fact. There's no discrimination going on. It's a distinction that's being put in place between men and women who we know to be different. So I felt that West Virginia did very well, held their own, and I'm very optimistic that we're going to prevail here. I know that the case has been bouncing around for years. I know I'm the one who filed the appeal to get this up to the U.S. Supreme Court in 2024, but I think that the new Attorney General has done a good job, and I feel that the arguments speak for themselves. Men are different than women on the basis of biology, and that if the court doesn't rule in West Virginia's favor, we're talking about a sea change in how girls' sports programs are going to operate into the future. The amount of displacement already that we're seeing with men competing with women is hugely problematic. In this case, it's happened hundreds of times where young girls were displaced by this male who is participating in track and discus. So we need this to be rectified very quickly.
Governor, if you listen to I listened to a good part of the arguments this morning, and it was a dense legal discussion. However, it did not help the other side, particularly the lawyers for the ACLU in both cases, that they would not or could not offer a definition of sex when the law is so much about definitions. And Justice Samuel Alito slammed one of the attorneys from the ACLU for not having a working definition of sex. Listen to this.
What does it mean to be a boy or a girl or a man or a woman?
We do not have a definition for the court, and we don't take issue with we're not disputing the definition here. What we're saying is that the way it applies in practice is to exclude birth sex males categorically from women's teams, and that there's a subset of those birth sex males where it doesn't make sense to do so according to the state's own interest.
Well, how can a court determine whether there's discrimination on the basis of sex without knowing what sex means for equal protection purposes?
And later on, he said, Alito, Title IX prohibits discrimination based on sex. It is a statutory term. It must mean something, Governor.
You know, it does. And in fact, if you go back and look at how the West Virginia law was drafted, the legislature was very careful to draft these distinctions on the basis of sex, and that was in order to ensure it would comply with Title IX, in order to make sure that there weren't going to be equal protection violations. So here you had a state doing it right and distinguishing between men and women, and there's been an effort in recent years by the trans advocacy movement to blur all those distinctions. But that's not how Title IX was written. That's not what the authors of Title IX meant, that there were clear lines and the word sex is used. Other words are not used. Now, it was back in the 1970s, but words have to have meaning. And so it's very reasonable, and it fulfills the West Virginia government's obligations to do distinctions on the basis of male and female. So this, to me, I've always thought the argument on the other side was very weak. The travesty in this case, it's had to go this far to get to the U.S. Supreme Court, but I am very optimistic we're going to prevail.
Yeah, words have to have meaning. That's the basis of all
Right.
law. Governor, it's good to see you. Thanks for being with us and sharing your
Good to see
perspective.
you. Thank you so much.
All right.